5 Minutes Funnier is back.
Hi, and welcome to 5 Minutes Funnier, the comedy how-to. I am your host, Jimmy England, here again with tips, tricks, and hacks on making you a better comedian. Now, something that I see happening all the time when people do an open mic that is leaking over into regular performances is narrating your act. Now, narrating your act means that you do something, and if something doesn't work, you start to say something about it. Like, oh, that's a new joke that I'm working on, or I guess that one didn't work, or, well, there's a whole host of things that people do where they just don't do the act. They have to comment on what they're doing. Now, that can be a very funny concept. There are people out there who can make it hilarious and make it work for them. But what I see generally is not people trying to do that. It's people just out there doing their act, and then when something doesn't work, they find it necessary to tell the audience what the audience already knows. It didn't work. They know that. You don't have to tell them that. Now, full disclosure on this, I'm just as guilty of it as the rest of you are. But I think what I do is I try and make sure that I don't do that. In other words, if I do it, I'm going to feel bad about it and try and suppress it the next time I go on stage. But what I see too often is somebody or different people go up, do their act, do new material, old material, whatever it is, and if it doesn't work, they feel like they have to say something about it when it's really not necessary. It kind of makes you look less professional unless you can make a really good joke about not being funny. One of the places this crops up a lot is when you get down to your last joke. I cannot tell you the number of times I have seen people get on stage and go, all right, this is my last joke. Don't tell them it's your last joke. The last joke is supposed to be the biggest laugh of the night. And you need to deliver that joke and let it go and then get off on the laugh. Now, I don't think this is going to be a particularly long episode, but it is an important episode. Just when you're on stage, be aware of what you're doing. These are the sort of things hopefully you will pick up if you are recording your act, as you should, especially with new material, so you can learn where the mistakes are being made and get rid of them. If you never see yourself making a mistake or you never hear yourself making the mistake, then it's hard to correct a problem like that. I have been your host, Jimmy England, for 5 Minutes Funnier. As always, please subscribe. Hit the like button too. That does help us with the algorithm reach more comedians. Not true. That helps us reach more viewers. Although this particular series is not about the general public. This is for other comedians. So if you got anybody else you think might benefit by listening to this, give us a recommendation. We'd really appreciate that. But most importantly, stay funny, everybody.